Thank you, Cami and Mark, for coming so far to present such great presentations. We really appreciate that. And for you local folks, too. I don't know if there was an L on the end of that word or not, but thank you so much.
I'm Cami Griffiths, and I'm from San Francisco. I work for TechSoup. How many of you guys know TechSoup? And how many have ordered from TechSoup in the last year? Right on. So I'll be talking more about TechSoup in about 20 minutes, but first I wanted to focus on the Maintain IT project, which is the most pertinent to libraries. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I do at TechSoup and what I've done in the past. So at TechSoup, I get wrangled into speaking engagements like this. I do trainings and webinars, and I do some writing and research, but half my time is spent doing interviews with librarians. And I say that I love my job because I get to spend half my time chatting with people like you guys, and that's really great. It's really fun. I mean, some of the interviews are kind of dull, but generally I have a really great time. Get a look of concern back there. But generally it's really interesting to hear all the different stories that people have to share about how they're maintaining their public computers and the different things that happen with the patrons and whatnot. And so I tell my friends, I just love my job. I get to talk to librarians, and I was even quoted as saying, I want to be a librarian myself. Because the calls are recorded and transcribed, and my coworker was reading through it, and he emailed it back to me. He's like, this is the funniest thing I've heard you say. So it's a great project, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. Before TechSoup, I worked for the City of New York in the Parks and Recreation Department, and I helped manage 27 computer labs throughout the city. So I have a I do empathize with you, because when I was there, we didn't have very good tech support. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And in the security class yesterday with Ben, I was laughing at some of the things that he was talking about, the Trojan horses, the CD-ROM drive opening and closing, and all those mysterious things that back then I just thought, well, that's odd. And then now I realize, oh, they were all infected with viruses and all sorts of crazy things that I had no idea at the time. So if only I knew then what I know now, I could have helped make these labs run a lot better. We would have saved ourselves a lot of time. I mean, one day I went in and the image of the monitor was upside down. And if you've ever tried to move a mouse when the monitor's upside down, it's just, the start menu is so, look, we have a desktop. So here's me, and I wanted to start off by showing you some of the people that we've talked to. And I've talked to over 150 librarians and people who work in community technology centers, CTCs, and just been continually inspired by the work that you guys do without very much money, without very much support. And I've been close to crying sometimes hearing the stories of the end user getting a job, or the end user being able to contact somebody in Iraq that they haven't been able to talk to. And so it's just a great experience for me to be able to take in the really great stories, success stories, and even the not so great stories, and to be able to then provide them back to the community through these cookbooks, which I'll talk about in a minute. So the Maintain IT project is a 3-year project funded by the Gates Foundation. And the idea is that we're going to create a series of guides called cookbooks to help librarians and library staff maintain their public computers. And part of the project, so it's the cookbooks, there'll be 5 of them total. So far we have 2, and you received the first one last night. If you haven't received it, they're in the back of the room. They look like this. The second one is this, and I'll talk about the contents in a few minutes. You'll also have PDF files on the discs that were provided in the folders. So we have the cookbooks, we have the website, which I'll talk about, and there's a blog and case studies. We're calling them library spotlights. And we did one on Renee Goss, who isn't here, but we did an interview with her and a case study. So there's me at my desk with a little headset on like I used to wear when I worked for Hardee's. And I sit at my computer and I annoy my cube mates by asking the same question over and over again to different people. What are your challenges? What are your successes when it comes to maintaining the public computers? Do you have any stories that you'd like to share? So the general process, and you don't have to read all this, I'm just putting it up there because there's just so many little things that is involved in interviewing that I never thought when I started this project that it would be so involved. But basically, trying to get somebody to interview that was willing to be interviewed is a challenge in and of itself. When we started the project, we would cold call people, just try to explain what the project's about, and I know it's a good project, but try to explain that to a total stranger who thinks you're a sales call, and they hang up on you. And we were using Skype, and that looked like an international number, so there was very much skepticism about what we were doing. But now we've really fine-tuned the process. My coworker, Sarah, will watch the listservs, look for people posting questions around maintaining computers, or people that have an answer, and she'll contact them and see if they want to be interviewed for the project. And so far, we've only interviewed 2 Montanans, and I'm looking for more people to interview. And I've taken down 5 names so far. So if any of you, after this presentation, feel like this is a project you'd like to participate in, you can talk to me today, but we can also correspond via email later. And it's fun even. Some people will just keep talking and talking and talking. And it's just like I'm socializing and get paid for it. So we make the contact and we make sure that they understand what the project's all about. And there's generally usually, people are excited about it if they're not super busy. Some people are so busy they say, I have 10 minutes. You can have 10 minutes of my time, I just have no more time than that. And that's fine too, because if we can ask, if they're doing something really well, and there's a story in there that can help share a certain technique with the rest of you, then that's a worthy interview. That's the whole idea, is that we take from you what you're doing well and what you've done poorly and figured out how to do better, and put it into these cookbooks to share with the rest of the library community. And we've gotten a lot of good response back from people. So the next part of the interview process is just scheduling it, which seems pretty straightforward, but there's always this back and forth, and the time change really messes people up. And then when I do actually get the interview scheduled and I get the voicemail like, Matt knows what I'm talking about. I interviewed Matt twice, and I had I think 4 times we had scheduled interviews, and actually successfully did it twice. So that's always a fun process. And here's the meat of it, the actual interview. I record them. I use a program called ReadyTalk, which is available on TechSoup. And you use the phone and the computer, and you're able to record the call, and then we get the recording transcribed so that we can pull the actual exact quotes to then put them into the books. But what I do during the interview is just to get people feeling comfortable. I ask them about their library and their community so they get all, ready to talk. And then we start talking about the public computers and what the biggest challenges are, if they have any success stories or best practices. And often I ask them to brag about what they're doing, but you guys are so humble. It's really hard to get you to brag. I have to poke and prod it out of you. So it's pretty great when I get to hear some success stories and getting really excited about the fact that you figured out how to troubleshoot this one thing that's really been pestering you for a while. And I think that one thing could help 5 other people around the country, and no one else would have known about it except for this project. So I'm always continually proud of being in this, participating in this project. And so the last part of this overall interviewing process is to get the interviews transcribed. We then read through all of the transcriptions, which is painfully boring. I mean, I try to make it entertaining for the person reading by throwing in some jokes and things like that, but generally it's hard to read through and pull out those really good quotes that will then go into the cookbook. So it's this big process that doesn't seem like it would be that big of a process, but it's important to have all the parts work together to make it all work. So this is cookbook 1, and because of the name, you can imagine there's a lot of cooking analogies in it. There's recipes from the chef. There's other types of checklists that can help you with your computing. And some people, there was one woman that didn't like it so much because she's like, I'm not much of a cook. And I'm like, it's not a real cookbook. But But so this first cookbook is specifically for rural librarians who don't have much support in the way of tech support. They're generally responsible for maintaining the computers themselves, or they have a tech person far, far away who will take 2 weeks to come out and fix a computer. So they're pretty much on their own. So this will talk about disk protection, lockdown software, filtering, working with volunteers, and tech planning. Just to kind of give an overview of what you need to know if you're maintaining public computers. And many of you already know this, so this may not be the best cookbook for you, but there's a lot of resources in there and a lot of good websites to go to. Or if you know a librarian that fits this, who is rural and has no tech support, pass them on this information. And we've had really great response from people like, this is a godsend, thank you so much. I can't believe this is exactly what we've been looking for. I've been putting it into my trainings for staff, and so it's worth a look at. Now the second one can be used by rural librarians as well, but it's generally for larger population, more supported library. So it focuses on time and print management, setting a wireless network, doing laptop checkout. And laptop checkout itself there's a lot of really good information in here. We did a case study of a guy from Alachua County in Florida. I can't remember his name offhand, but he had this, he pretty much wrote the chapter for us because he had worked through the whole process of how to do a laptop checkout. He had a team of people to help him figure it out. Well, you don't have a team of people, but now through this chapter, there's actually 2 chapters about laptop checkout. You can see what they've done, and it'll kind of spark some ideas like, well, this will work for us, but that won't because we don't have security gates or whatever. So it's really good information. And both of these books are available on Cafe Press for purchase or download for free on our website. The website has individual chapters that you can download or the entire book, because we know it's a lot of paper. So if you're only dealing with wireless, you may only want to download the wireless chapter. And then Cookbook 3. We're still working on it, and we're still interviewing people to collect stories and best practices, and even horror stories. So an activity we're going to do in a little bit involves interviewing your neighbor, and on the back side will be an opportunity for you to share something that went horribly wrong, and it didn't seem funny at the time, but now it's funny. Those are good for us to learn as well, because those are like real problems you're having, and we want to provide some kind of resource for you. Because you're not the only one having these problems. Like public computers are public computers no matter if they're in Montana or Florida, and so whatever you do to fix it could help somebody else in a different state. So this third cookbook it's pretty dense. There's a lot of stuff in here, and the guy who's writing it is just kind of, I think he's going to turn gray by the end of this project because he's got a lot of work to do. But luckily we've been able to interview Matt and some other great library techies who have helped us fill in the blanks of what this chapter is going to have. So purchasing technology, communicating between the library staff and the tech staff. There's all this back and forth, like, well, I'll read a quote from Matt in a little bit, but it's generally the librarian thinks the techie doesn't. There's this difficulty between the two, and what we hope to do in this chapter is give some pointers for people on how to do that better. For instance, one person said, well, my techie was a lot nicer to me after I started bringing him cookies. So, like a low-tech way of dealing with a high-tech problem. So here's our website. It's maintainitproject.org. And for Drupal fans out there, this was made in Drupal. And it has a bunch of resources on it. It has a blog, and I've written a few articles. I'm supposed to write a blog a month, but it's really hard for me to keep up with everything I've got to do. So Sarah Washburn is generally the biggest blogger, and if any of you guys are bloggers out there, you've probably seen her name. And what the blog serves is just a quick little, oh, I heard this. Oh, this is a good idea. Oh, so-and-so is doing this. So it's a quick way of us getting information out to you right away versus every 6 months with a new cookbook. Here are the case studies, or the library spotlight. And you can see Renee's the second from the right. And hers has to do with how she was able to get internet to her library. And the one on the very right is this woman, Marion Wynn from Alabama. And she had some old computers that were running on Windows 95, no longer supported by Microsoft. She got really angry, but she didn't, break anything. She just installed Linux on all of her computers. Because 95 wasn't being supported, she couldn't keep it updated to viruses, and so she just reinstalled Linux on it, and she was so happy about how it worked out. Her patrons couldn't tell the difference really, and the computers ran faster than they did when they had Windows on it. And she was just this perky little happy person with her cute little accent, and so I had such a great time interviewing her, and so this case study outlines how she was able to take off Windows, put on Linux, and save money and even be able to afford some furniture out of the deal. So that was great for her. So we do have a steering committee of librarians and folks in the library world that help guide us with this project, because TechSoup, we're mainly nonprofit. We help the nonprofit world, and we don't know the answers, and we know we don't know the answers, so we get help from the steering committee to guide what the project will look like and what will be in the future cookbooks. But also to let you know that we still haven't figured out what cookbook 4 is going to be yet. So how we figure out what it's going to be is by asking folks like you, what do you need? What are your challenges? And then that is then integrated into future cookbooks. So the cookbooks are really made by you, for you. And so they will then have the ultimate decision. So I've been pushing for certain things that I keep hearing, and so ultimately I'll probably get shot down. But if you have something specific that you're like, I really wish there was information about gaming, for instance, we probably will include some information in there, because that is a hot topic. And why have you guys all spend your time looking for resources when we could just put it in this book? Even though the resources given today in the folder for the class today was phenomenal. It was a great, great class, so thank you for that. So quotes and stories. It's really the meat of the whole project. Is we get data from you to put into cookbooks and in the spotlights and in the website. So we don't write this stuff. It's in the library community. So I wanted to share some of the things that I'm hearing, and to have a picture. This is a picture of Renee. I don't know if you can see it, but she's going to ALA or bust, I think her sign says. So I guess I didn't think about failure at the time. I just knew whatever we could get grants would be for the better. And I did have a lot of support. I sought out experts. I called lots of people in libraries and found out how they did things. Thinking back, it's nice because you can almost see those steps. And at the time you're thinking you're not getting anywhere, so it's nice. I can see we really have moved forward a lot. And this is taken from a conversation about how she was able to get internet into her town, and that you have this vision and it's going to take a long time to make it happen, but she made it happen. She's able to get dial-up to her library and eventually now wireless through the course of 10 years. So that's a pretty impressive story. And then Matt, would you like to come and read your quote? Oh, no.
Oh, go ahead, you're not lying.
Okay, I'll talk in a low voice.
I know tech stuff, and there will always be a communication barrier. It's important to be able to talk to people and get them to understand how to do things. I hear people say, I hate my tech guy because he always talks down to us like we're stupid. Nobody wins in that situation, and I've heard tech guys say, I hate talking to end users, they're so stupid. They're not stupid, they just don't know what you know. And so I think that's one of the most important requirements of a good tech person, is the ability to really just talk to people and not treat them like they're stupid. So we very much appreciated that. I took out your ums and ahs, But this is what I'm talking about as far as learning how to communicate with your techie, that if we could share some of this stuff with the library staff, we could share some of this with the tech people, and eventually learn to develop a relationship where you can talk to each other in a way that helps both of you. And then this lady, Tasneem, from Anaheim. So Anaheim Public Library is just huge, and she doesn't do work directly on the computer. Maybe she'll do some troubleshooting, but they have a team of IT people, and I also interviewed the IT person as well. But she and I chatted for like an hour and a half. It was insane. And so it was a really good interview. So this is my second career. I wasn't hatched as a librarian. I went back to school and got my master's for library science at age 42. I worked in a completely different field before this, and my master's is from 1999. So we built and constructed website pages from scratch. I feel really fortunate that I waited and went back to school now because I've got skills that I can use with younger people and that are really cool and fun. And when I try to get some of the older folks to understand, I say, don't be scared. This is all good stuff. Not so much librarians anymore. Librarians are now getting pretty hip to this. They can handle it and not be afraid. And that's another thing, like, that there's this idea of many folks have that, like, we can do it, of course we can do it. I'm just gonna figure it out. And that kind of mentality, I think, is inspirational to others who may be of the same age and think, well, this makes me uncomfortable, and what we're hoping, and I'm sure it won't work for everybody, but if it inspires 5 librarians out there to just say, oh, heck with it. I'm just gonna try and figure out this new Wii game program thing and see if it can get more kids into the library. And then last quote that I have to share with you is from Texas, Faye Hover. She's like in her early 70s and just had so much spunk. So you can't fear that you're going to screw up. You just have to get in there and say, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. If you fear that you're going to mess something up, because I'm pretty old and my life has proven to me generally that there are very few things that you can't reverse. When I first came to work at the library, we had a tech person and he had set the network up, but he was not forthcoming in sharing anything. So I just had to sit down and look. First I looked at how he had everything set up. I didn't make any changes, I just looked at everything. I'd open it up and look at it, because if all you're going to do, if you're doing is opening up a file or a folder, it isn't like God's going to come down and strike the server dead. She's also a big believer in providing educational games for the children in her library, and will spend money out of her own pocket to pay for the games that she puts out there. So I had a great interview with this lady. So now we're going to do some little interactivity. Could I get the lights turned up, please? So what I'd like for you to do is find someone to interview, and I've got some sheets to fill out. We're going to take the next 10 or so minutes to interview the person next to you and ask them some of the questions that I ask when I'm interviewing. As one person I interviewed, their favorite stupid mistake, or something that they did that they're like, oh man, why did I do that? But then it helped learn what not to do. So if you have a story like this, please share it now. Like doing updates in the middle of the day and slowed all the computers down, or
I only did it once.
I'm sorry to use you as an example. It was too good to pass up. So I'm just gonna one or two more minutes, and then after this, I'll open it up for you guys to share some of the things that you heard from each other. So at this point, I'd like to hear from you guys. Does anyone have something from the front side or the back side of this interview sheet that they'd like to share with the group? And you can blame it on some, or you can hand it up here and I'll read it. So if you don't mind passing them in, I will take them, and we don't have to, share that it's your information, but it could provide us some other insight into some of the problems that you're having or some of the good things. And if you did write something down that you feel like, I would really like to talk more about this, I would be happy to set up an interview with you later. So I'll come around and pick those up from the end of the table a little bit later. Okay. So what can you do to help the Maintain IT project? get involved. So the cookbooks that you received today, you can start using them, read through them. We have a link on the website to an evaluation, a kind of SurveyMonkey. Give us your feedback, tell us if you hate it, tell us if you love it, tell us how you use it so that we can make it better next time. Incorporate the cookbooks into training material. On the disc that you got, with the cookbooks, there's also a PowerPoint presentation that's a train the trainer presentation. So if you're giving trainings to your staff, there is a PowerPoint that you can use as a guide to help as a teaching aid for the cookbooks. So it's a pretty nice resource. And schedule an interview with me. In case you haven't caught on, I'm trying to get people to contact me so I can interview them. Please. Spread the word. So we have a blog. If you have a blog, blog about us, or tell your blogger friends to blog about us. Blog, blog, blog. Post to a listserv. So we can only be on so many listservs, and we can only get the word out so far, and there's so many people that could benefit from knowing about this project, so post it to your listserv. Add a photo of you to our Flickr group. So the picture's at the very beginning of the presentation with everyone holding up their cookbook. It's kind of a thing, and I conned a group of people into doing this last night for me. So I want more pictures like this. So if you were able to upload a picture to the Flickr account, then helps us see the big breadth of people that we're helping. And stay informed. Oh, that's Sarah, my coworker. That if anyone's talked to Sarah, that was her Halloween costume. So receive our newsletter. We have a new newsletter. That's the first one just came out. You can sign up on our website, or you can sign up on this sheet, and we will email you. I'll pass this around. On there is a little checkbox for if you're going to be at PLA. So just mark that off if you wanted us to get in touch with you then. We're also on WebJunction. There's a discussion forum. So you want to go to the All Aboard section, Resources for Rural and Small Libraries, and Maintain IT. So if you want to post things, questions about the project, there's a discussion there. So if there's any questions about Maintain IT, I'm going to move on to talk about TechSoup. So any questions? Okay. So TechSoup, my fine employer, we do a lot of really great things, not just for the library world, but for nonprofits. And our website, TechSoup.org, has a learning center, community forums, and TechSoup stock. Those are the three big things. There's other things like NetSquared that has a lot to do with the newer internet tools, the Web 2.0 tools, and then Nonprofit Commons, which is the how we help nonprofits and libraries get on Second Life, and some other great stuff. So pay attention, because this is you're going to be quizzed later if you participate in Jeopardy. So the Learning Center, there's articles and case studies. We just finished a video case study about a nonprofit in Oakland. There's a section for free downloads, so a lot of the programs that were mentioned throughout yesterday and today are in the free download section, like Spybot, CCleaner, AdAware, those kinds of programs are available. By the Cup is our weekly newsletter. You can sign up on our homepage and get yet another weekly newsletter, and our blog. And that's just a place for us to quickly add links to new things that are happening, and it's not this long article of 1,000 words. It's a quick read. And on the right-hand side are just all the topics that we have in the Learning Center. So there'll be articles about consultants and funding and hardware and software. And the one that might be most useful for this group is the community tech centers. So there'll be articles specific to computer labs. Community forums. So this is similar to WebJunction's community forums. You post a question, talk about it. But what's great is that you can post a question that you have specifically about a technology question. Like, my server's doing this, why is it doing that? When I send out these emails, this happens, why is it doing that? And it's monitored by volunteers, so you always get a response within 24 hours. So it's like free tech help. So it's a great resource, and it also has then the historical knowledge of all the other questions that people have asked in the past. So you could very well get the answer just by doing a quick search without having to post for it. Lots and lots of good information on there. We do have some online events, so over the course of 3 days, there'll be someone monitoring the questions, and so it's just this ongoing question back and forth. And there's soup recipes. So if you're ever looking for a good soup recipe, we have hundreds on our website. And TechSoup Stock, which is everybody's favorite. You get your software for cheaper than you would normally get it for. And libraries get nearly everything that nonprofits get. There's some stipulations and different eligibility rules, so I'm just going to quickly go over the differences. That you have to be a public library or a 501c3, and you're eligible for the list of products on the left-hand side. So for Microsoft, you can get products for your public access computers, but not for your staff computers. It's just their rule. And with Microsoft, you can order only once a year, and you can, every 2 years, can only order 6 products with a total of 50 licenses per product. So each of these different companies have their own restrictions, and on our website, just make sure before you do place an order to read the restrictions to see if you qualify. If you have any questions, you can always contact customer service. There's a 1-800 number on our website, and they're very, very helpful, and we just want to do what we can to help. So don't hesitate to call. We have special promotions where the product is free. So Rant Station was one that was just recently done, and so it's a day for us to kind of push through a bunch of products, and then you get them for free. And examples of how much you save: $40 for Microsoft Office instead of $400. There's Encarta for $3, and a typing program that's, I think, $15. So some pretty good savings when you're talking about 50 computers. Okay, so my contact information, Cami at TechSoup, and our website, and you can always get in touch with me through Jim. Do we have any questions? Because I want to save enough time for our Crazy Jeopardy game. Okay. So what we're going to do now is play Jeopardy, and I need 3 contestants. We've got... I kept hearing there was so much excitement. So can I get, okay, 1 hand, 2 hands. You're my bodyguard, remember? Okay. All right, so we've got 3 people. Can I have you come up, please? That's probably the most I've thought about Jeopardy in years, so I had to rack my brain to figure out how do you actually, so who has when are your birthdays? I'm trying to figure out who will be the person to start. November?
December. October.
Oh, man.
So I guess November? You're in the November? Oh, you're November?
You want to be closer or farther away?
Oh, the closest.
It'd be October.
October.
October, sorry. Duh. Okay, so October starts, and I need, so what's going to happen is, just like Jeopardy, we'll put the questions up there. Matt will start, and by choosing the question, and then it's the answer. When the answer comes up, then whoever hits the dinger first gets to say the question. But I'm not going to be able to see who's hit the dinger first. So I need for there to be somebody that's watching and seeing and judging who's the first person.
Oh, Ron will do that.
Ron, you're somehow going to get wrangled into this.
I'm his ride home, so.
Wait, there's bias here.
There's something going on.
So if there could just be somebody to judge, okay, great.
We can go to the video.
Yeah, we can always go to tape if you really
So if you like what you see here, I sent this PowerPoint to Jim, and he will forward it on to you guys if you want to use it in your own, for your own fun and games. So one category is Montana history, which has nothing to do with public computers, but it sounded like a good idea at the time. Online resources, TechSoup, which is why I wanted you to pay attention to what I was saying. Maintaining public computers, and those pesky patrons. Yes, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, can I have those pesky patrons for 100, please, Kenny?
Yes, Matt. A way to stop Johnny from surfing porn. Yes, Matt.
What is a content filter?
You are correct. And Matt,
I'll take those pesky patrons for 200.
he's on a roll. Memorizing other people's library card numbers.
I don't really know. What's a way to sign into the software to cheat? Oh, I can turn this on.
It's on the.
It's on already? Yeah, it's okay. It's a way to cheat the system. What is a way to cheat the system?
Close enough. What is a technique patrons use to stay on the computer past their session? Very good.
I think I'm at a disadvantage. It's
Do
not
you know we didn't
difficult
solve
in
that
library.
problem?
What's a good way to solve that
At our
problem?
reservation machine, there's no keyboard. It's only a barcode scanner. They have to have their card.
Or they borrow their friend's card.
Don't they log in on the computer with it?
Well, the machine doesn't depend.
Oh, yours is different. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I need
All right.
a board.
Oh.
Oh, I think, let's see. So I have some score, right? Let's try maintaining public computers for 100, please.
Restart.
I don't know, what is Control Delete?
So I will.
No.
Okay. What is a way to fix all the problems with Windows?
There you go. What is the first thing you should do when troubleshooting? So you have to realize it's not easy to put these questions together, so there's definitely more than one answer to some questions. My apologies, please don't fight. Okay. Matt,
Let's do Montana history for 100.
Montana's most famous daredevil.
Who's evil?
Megan. Yes.
Very good.
Who is Evel Knievel?
Let's change it up. Let's go to online resources for 100.
The best listserv in Montana. Matt,
What is Wired MT?
you are correct. Matt,
Let's do online resources for 200.
librarian.net, librarian. Let me finish that question. Librarian Black, shifted librarian. Yes. Who?
What are librarian blogs?
Yes. Thank you. Very good.
Very good.
What are the library blogs?
Let's keep it going for 300.
Webinars, articles, and discussion boards. Yes.
What are good places to find information? For
Let's be a little more specific.
what are good places to find information on technical support or questions you might have?
Perhaps you could list a website that offers this.
I would go to Web Junction.
Very good. What does Web Junction offer? Okay.
Okay, let's try TechSoup for 100.
The TechSoup project that involves interviews and books. Matt by hair.
What is Maintain IT? Maintain IT.
What is the Maintain IT project? Very good.
Well, let's do TechSoup for 200.
The place on TechSoup.org where you can post a technology question.
What are the forums?
Very good. What are the community forums?
Is that Megan?
Yes.
No, Aldra.
This
I'm
person.
Aldra.
I'm sorry.
Megan's calling you, bitch. That's all right, I answered it.
Let's go back to Montana history for 200.
Blue Bunch Wheatgrass.
What is our state grass?
She says with a question mark? Yes, very good.
Boy, I was sorely misinformed.
It could have been our state lead. Montana, 300.
December 29th, 1890 at Pine Ridge.
When did Montana become a state?
That is incorrect.
Well, what is it that you're saying? Come on, louder.
It's that disturbance of where the. Who did me? No.
No?
Okay, right now.
What is whatever she says?
You are correct. What is the massacre of Wounded Knee?
Good call.
I didn't write the question. I don't think so. I'm gonna have to get my
You'll
coworker
have to
wrote
give
this
that one to
one.
me. Ed.
I'm gonna have to not give that one to you. Had you actually said Wounded Knee, I might have given it to you. What she said is not a good answer. Okay, so who picked the last one?
I think it was me.
Okay.
So let's clear out the category and go 400 for Montana.
The dot between a county prefix and the license plate number.
What is the bison skull?
What is an animal skull? Yes, very good. Matt.
Oh, let's do 500.
So you know what that means. That if you get this correct, you get twice the points. And it's 500, so you get 8,000. The only Montanan baseball pitcher to hit a Grand Slam home run in a World Series.
I'm gonna have to say I don't know. I don't do sports at all. Anybody else? Anybody in the audience?
That is.
Dave McNally?
Who is Dave McNally? 1,000 points to the lady in the back.
I think that means she's ahead.
So would you like to pick a category?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's give them TechSoup for 300.
Right on.
Thank you.
The place where you can purchase discounted software.
What does TechSoup stop?
Excellent. Very good. Matt.
Let's do 400.
Okay. The place on TechSoup.org where you'll find free downloads. Tricky. Starts with an L.
Learning center?
Yes.
Learning center. What is learning center?
What is the Learning Center?
Oh, okay, TechSoup for 500, please.
Encarta, $3. Ultra Key typing program, $15. QuickBooks, $45.
No, it wasn't me. It was last.
I think it was Maddie.
Rock, paper, scissors.
It was.
What?
Oh, she said it was.
I don't think I'm right anyway. So what is the administrative fee? Administrative cost? Administration fee? Or how much does it cost to buy them? What does it
What is
cost?
the cost of the discounted software on TechSoup?
How is this? It's called an administrative fee, isn't it?
It's true. But the question I have here are a lot easier. What are the products offered? What are some products offered on TechSoup stock? So you both get it.
Yeah, we'll split it. What was it? So 250 and 250.
So then you both have to decide on which one we do.
Well, let's go to online resources for
I don't agree.
400.
Gonna have to arm wrestle over this one. A resource for technology planning. Matt.
What is the cookbook?
That is true. But it is a resource mentioned in the cookbook, which is a website. It's tricky.
What is Wikipedia?
I know it's pretty broad.
She knows back there.
Anything,
No, what?
anything. Yes.
Tech Atlas?
Very good. What is Tech Atlas?
I can
Oh,
take that.
I love Tech
Yes,
Atlas.
you can take
It makes
that.
me happy. So, what would you like to choose?
Let's close out online resources.
A place where teaching your animated librarian avatar how to fly is a requisite.
What is Second Life?
Close enough.
Okay.
What is Information Island in Second Life? Any Second Lifers out there?
Never knew how to fly.
I keep falling over things and bumping into the walls. Can't get it.
I rode a car for a while, that's all I know.
I don't think I'd be able to get in a car. All right.
Maintaining public computers for 200.
All right, daily double. 2 absolute must programs for public access computers.
Absolute must program.
Quite a list.
It is quite a list, because I want to have Adobe Reader, and I want to have Firefox, but there's probably others that are absolute must. Is there a longer list than that? Or are there more specific than that? Yes, I'm thinking
Data security.
Yeah. Mine's taken care of, so I have a hard time.
F-Disk and OpenSUSE.
Free AVG software, virus scanning software, and something else. I have to say, I don't know, there's so many I can think.
Well, I'll tell you what I have here,
Okay.
which is antivirus and lockdown
Oh,
software.
I got
So you
half
had
of it,
AVG,
half of
so
it, yeah.
Give her 200.
Give me half of it.
give her 223.
Point.
Next category.
Okay, let's continue in that category for 300.
Recommended computer replacement schedule. Matt.
I'm not sure if you're looking for an actual time or a term or something here. What is-
Number of years, perhaps?
What is 3 years?
Try again.
What is 4 years?
Very good.
We do 3, so that's my recommendation.
That's a tough one. When they get home.
When
When we get money.
When they start smoking.
Let's do 400 in that group.
Updating antivirus, Windows updates, defrag, disk cleanup.
What are recommended ways to keep Windows running well?
What are some regular maintenance tasks? Very good.
Oh, I'm sorry, do 500.
EnvisionWare, Cybrarian.
What are time print management software?
Very good.
Big one. And that should have done. Okay.
My hand wasn't near my mouth.
Those pesky patrons were 300.
An option you can use to prevent printing 500 pages. Matt,
What is a print management software?
sort of. Somebody else want to guess? I mean, that would work, but.
What is only stocking 2 pieces of paper?
Or, what is print preview? Ah. If only they would learn print preview. Every time I talk to, what is your challenge printing? When they print out 500 pages. Yes.
I say that every
And they're like, I didn't do it, it's not mine. Your name's on it.
Well, I didn't do it.
We'll go for 400.
Leaving the computer while still wearing headphones and sticking foreign objects in the CD drive.
What are ways that patrons destroy public computers?
Very good. What are the unfortunate things patrons do to the computer?
Floppy drive.
Does anyone else have something else they want to add that your patron did to your pulled off the keys? And the last one. Sitting in the parking lot.
What is using the wireless internet?
Very good. What are some ways patrons use the library's wireless signal? So we still have.
Street, and I did that.
And it worked.
So I'm going to go. See if we can get the. Well, I'm trying to get the. But I don't think my audio works. Can I get a texter?
Just
Texter?
has to sing that song.
We have a fine audio, so I can hum
We
quite
don't know
well,
the
I
Jeopardy
think.
theme.
And do you have the pad of paper?
Not yet.
They're doing okay by themselves.
Yeah, I can't get get it working. Can I get some help here?
We need to what are our totals? We have to wager?
I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you.
Oh, we're not done yet, so hold on. Oh wait, yeah, you need to know how much you have so you can bet it. We're getting some paper because the Final Jeopardy question.
Computer guys.
So the Final Jeopardy question, or the Final Jeopardy answer, is biggest bandwidth drain. And this involves audience participation because they're going to give you an answer. They're going to give you their answer, and you guys judge who wins by your applause. So, if you want to give them how much money they're working with. And now we cue
Andrea, 700. Matt, 2,450. Pam, 2,773.
That's all.
Okay, so now cue the music. Dun,
Wait, we got
dun,
it.
Wait, we have to bet.
dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
Hey, I wouldn't have to have the extended version. Well,
You writing an essay?
30 more seconds.
Working on my
Just sing the song one more time.
Thank you.
I'm changing my answer.
Why are you changing your answer?
She's seen yours and you'll lose.
Okay, so this is open-ended. Your answers, the audience chooses. I will start with Andrea? Audra.
I'm going to say spyware.
So spyware, that's the biggest bandwidth suck. Round of applause. Okay. No love for Audra. And Matt.
I
put using the computer at all. I mean, you put, no, seriously. I don't know, listen now. Now listen, you know this, Ron. I mean, 8 o'clock when the staff comes in, the internet's nice and fast and blazing, everything's well, and then at 10 o'clock, the second the patrons hit the computers, the internet like plummets to like nothing. So that's my biggest drain is patrons using the computers at all.
All right.
Oh, come on!
Just lost your 2,700.
I didn't bet all
2,700.
I said downloading videos.
Well, it's pretty apparent who won. So now we need to. So let's see how much your wager. Everything. So she doubled her money. That's true. She won. So would you like to share how much you wagered just to finish it off?
I wagered $6.95.
So $5. She gets $5.
I did 1,500, so I have whatever.
Matt didn't win, but you all get a lovely TechSoup mug. And the winner gets a $25 gift card to Amazon. So I need to get your email and I'll thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. So that wraps up my presentation for today. Thanks again for inviting me here. This is a really, really fun adventure for me, and you guys are all great. I had such a great time talking to you all, and again, I will interview you if you contact me. It's painless. It's fun. So if there aren't any more questions, any questions? Any thoughts? Anybody wants to say great things or bad things about TechSoup?
You rock!